Hi, my name is Clint Francis. I'm a business coach. I specialize in mindset coaching and sales coaching. I'm also a trusted advisor to people's businesses. I had a previous client asked me a question, and I thought it'd be relevant to make a video about this today. And the question from this client, this was maybe a few months ago: should you learn how to sell before you start a business? And I thought that was an interesting question because this person was a commission salesperson thinking about transitioning into their own business. And I don't think there's a hard yes or a hard no to this question, but I would say it's definitely easier if you have sales experience before you start a business. In fact, I found it essential. Before I started my own business, I was in the luxury sales business for over 13 years, somewhere around 14 years. Plus, I sold things as a kid when I played baseball or soccer, just like everybody else. I also worked and sold men's clothing in high school. And I didn't really know what I was doing on my sales jobs that I had when I was younger. But once I got into luxury sales, I really decided I was going to learn sales. I was going to master it. I was going to do everything I can, go all in to become a great salesman. It was just what was the next thing for me to do in my process of life. So for me, I feel very fortunate that I spent a long time selling luxury items, which are more wants than need items. So a need item would be like a bed or a car, something of that nature, where people need a bed, they need a car, and it's usually very competitive and it's very much sold on price. I sold luxury items, things that people don't need, but what people want. And usually it's what wealthy people want. Excuse me. So if you find yourself in a job, you haven't started a business, what I would highly recommend is to get a sales job. There's tons of them. There's so many sales jobs, whether it's a good economy or a bad economy, because sales is a difficult thing to learn. Why? Because sales brings out all your weaknesses. All of the things that you thought you weren't afraid of, you're afraid of. So it's interesting. If you could go out, if you want to start a business, let's say, and you're working a job, you could go get a job selling. Now, I did inside sales most of my career. So that means customers were coming in. And I worked in tourist resorts, and so they were on vacation shopping. And I really liked that. And one of the great benefits that came out of that was that I had to learn how to build really quick rapport with them, like in 5 to 10 minutes. Where a lot of outside sales jobs, it may take you months to sell a client. Your sales cycle may be 6 months. It may be a year. It may be 3 months. So it depends. But sales is sales to me, whether it's business to business, business to customer, inside sales, outside sales, hourly plus commission, commission only. But what I would recommend to a person who's new to sales is to get an hourly plus commission job. Now, all the hourly plus commission jobs that I had in sales, I could never make a living on the hourly. I had to sell if I wanted to live in a decent place and have a decent car. So you can't really rely on the hourly too much. It's more of like a psychological crutch in the beginning. And I found that as far as how my personality is, it was easier for me to start with an hourly plus commission job. And I'd rather have it heavier on the commission and lower on the hourly. Some jobs are full commission, but usually state laws state that the place has to at least pay you minimum wage. And if you're not producing enough sales, they will give you minimum wage for probably a couple of months, and then they're going to boot you out the door. So what I preferred and what I fell into really was an hourly plus commission. Now in high school, I made $4 an hour plus 4% commission. So that was a long time ago. And that was my first sales job in a men's clothing store. But these days, it's probably going to be $10, $11, $12 an hour plus a commission that can range anywhere from 2% to even 7, 8%, just depending on what you're selling and what industry it is. It varies pretty widely. But what I would do if I was starting over again is I would do the same thing I did. I would work where I had to build rapport quickly. I would have an hourly plus commission. I think if I had a straight commission job at the beginning, I would have failed and I would have quit because I wasn't the kind of person that could hang in there long enough at the time to do it. I could do it now. That's having my own business is straight commission pretty much. If I don't produce anything, I don't make any money. And I'm not at the point where I'm hiring salespeople to sell my service. I sell my service. So I would recommend if you have a job or you're thinking about starting a business to definitely learn how to sell. But make sure commission is involved. Don't work at a place where you're getting paid hourly and then it doesn't matter how much you sell, or they have a quota, even worse, and you don't get any benefit from that. So I would definitely recommend to anybody who doesn't have a business to definitely get a sales job. Now, how long? Just to get your head around sales, in my opinion, takes 1 to 2 years. Just to get comfortable, to learn your product, and to get comfortable talking to other people, and to begin to get yourself out of the getting attitude that a lot of salespeople have. Now, not everybody gets out of this getting attitude. In fact, many salespeople never get out of it. You want to eventually transition into being more into relationship sales, where you're building relationships with people, even if it's for 30 minutes and you're selling them an expensive piece of jewelry in that time frame. There's still a way to do it. You just have to build rapport faster. These are little things that I'll go into more in future videos. But just in general, should you know how to sell before you have a business? I would say yes. It doesn't have to be that way. You could hire someone like me who could teach you how to sell. But you can go to a job and learn it and get paid and go through all the same stuff. Now, here's the major difference between selling your own product and service versus some company's product or service. You're not going to be as fearful of rejection. And that's why most people are afraid of selling, is they don't want to be rejected. They take it personal. They think the customer is rejecting them, not the product or the service. They could be rejecting the price. They could be rejecting your personality. I mean, there's a lot of reasons, and most customers will not tell you why. So what I would say is if you could get a sales job where you're getting hourly plus commission ideally, or if you want to work on straight commission, if you have the guts to do that off, from the beginning, have at it. So when you get to sell in your own business, here's the real nuanced difference. When you're selling someone else's product and service, this is what I did. I would say, hey, I didn't paint this painting, because I sold a lot of paintings and sculpture and different art pieces. I would say, hey, I didn't paint this. Could you tell me, is there something about it that's not perfect, or if it was a price issue? And I could always put it on somebody else, like, hey, you could tell me, you're not rejecting me, and the artist isn't here, so you could tell me the truth. And that was one of the ways that I would deal with objections, to find out what the objections were. It's not always price. A lot of sales trainers and coaches will say it's always price. No, it isn't. If you're selling commodities like cars and beds, yes, it's on price a lot. If you're selling something that's unique and one of a kind or limited edition, it's a different ballgame. Yeah, it's a total different way of selling, but it's selling nonetheless. So back to what I was saying. Here's the deal. If you can sell someone else's product and get over your fear of rejection on that level, when you go to sell your product, your service that you created, you're going to go through the same thing over again. You're going to feel that I don't want to be rejected, because now they're rejecting your product and your service. So keep that in mind. And if you're really well trained in sales and you have a process that you've gone through, like greeting, building rapport, presenting your product, overcoming rejections, and asking for the sale, which is called the close, and you've done that thousands of times, when it comes to your own business, because when I closed my first sale from a person that was random, not a person that was a warm lead or somebody that was a friend of a friend or a client recommendation, no. Somebody off the internet that just maybe saw me on a podcast or however they saw me, and then they were coming to me, so then I had to build rapport with them, then got them on a sales call, then from a sales call to convert them to customer, and then move them into the process of coaching. It was much easier because I had thousands and thousands of customer interactions, strangers off the street, that I had to close the deal in 20 to 30 minutes. Now, if I couldn't close that deal, then I would have to work with them over email or over the phone and see if I could get the deal that way Just some people aren't going to buy the first time, but if you know what you're doing, you could get a pretty high amount of people, and not from a place of being pushy, not from a place of being a used car salesman type of, the stereotype. Obviously, if you sell used cars and you do it from a relationship perspective or you care about the customer, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about the people that are just transactional. They just want to sell, sell, sell. Give me my commission. I want to get my check and I want to go to the beach or whatever your thing is. I'm talking about building a long-term client book as well as referrals. Referrals are, to me, what are the most important things that a customer can give me. A great testimonial, word of mouth, telling their friends and family that I'm great, but referring me and saying, this guy's great to work with, he helped me get results. Now you got to remember, a coach doesn't get the results for you. They hold you accountable for what you say you're going to do. They teach you how to sell if need be, if they have that ability. I know how to teach how to sell. I've taught people how to sell for many years, formally and informally. So what I want to really get back to, which was the crux of this conversation, is should you learn how to sell before you start a business? Ideally, yes. That's the best path you can take, because you'll have thousands and thousands of interactions with strangers, people off the street, people coming into your store, people that you're going out and prospecting, whether it's door to door or you're calling them on the phone. You have warm leads, cold leads, whatever. And you kind of get a seasoning that you're not going to get. And so when you go right into your own business with no sales experience, a lot of people struggle and they go out of business, or they have to take out a lot of loans to survive, because the last thing people want to do is learn how to sell. That's what I've found just being a salesman, coaching other people. They want to do whatever it is. Maybe they have a great product that they invented. They don't want to sell it. But it's important to learn how to sell your own product or your own service, because if you eventually hire salespeople and they see you can't even sell, then it's going to be a weird relationship, because they're not really going to respect you. You don't have to be a great salesperson of your product or service if that's not the crux of what you do. If you're more of a creator, or you do something where you're not really a sales dog type of person that can sell anything, anytime, and survive. You don't have to be like that, but you definitely have to be good. You don't have to be great, but you have to be good at sales. So to kind of sum everything up here, if you can, get a job working 1 to 2 years in an hourly plus commission or straight commission position, and be all in. Give it your full attention, your full dedication. Learn about the product. Learn about the service if you're selling the service. Learn about everything you can. And then also learn about the mindset you're going to need in order to sell at a high level. Because most people have a more poverty mentality or a middle class mentality, and they're not going to be able to weather it. I started out in what you would call a lower middle class mentality, and I was selling to rich people right from the get-go. From when I got serious into the luxury sales market, I was selling to people that were making way more money than I've ever made. Plus, I was selling a product that I was completely unfamiliar with. So I had really two difficult things. How do I sell to my client base who I can't relate to? And how do I sell this product I have no really interest in and no background in? So it was perfect for me as far as my personality and all that. So go out and find something, and you'll know if you're attracted to selling environmental products or luxury products or beauty products or whatever it is that you are interested in. I would say it's smarter to pick something you're interested in, because it'll be easier to learn and it won't feel like such a chore to learn something you're not interested. I must have just been a glutton for punishment by doing that. So go out and get that job, do that for a year or two, and then you'll probably be at pretty average. If you really apply yourself, it may take you 2 to 3 years. We're all different in our learning curve. So I would definitely recommend that. If not, and you're going to go straight into your business, I would recommend hiring a sales coach, someone like myself, to train you to sell. Now that's obviously, going to be quicker to learn if you hire a coach, because just trying to learn from books and videos, you'll get somewhere, but you need a human feedback to let you know how you're doing. And an expert like myself could definitely help you with that. So if you are one of those people that owns a business and maybe you're okay at selling, or you're not very good at all, or maybe you're average and you want to get better, Down in the comments, you'll see my email, and you can click down there and email me, and we can have a talk and see if we're a good fit. Once again, my name is Clint Francis. I'm a business coach that specifically hones in on sales and mindset. So if you enjoyed this video, or if you got something out of it, please subscribe and hit the like button. Thank you so much. Have a great day.